Hi, I'm Loretta Andrews. I've been working in the music industry for over 20 years as a performing singer myself and also as a vocal coach. More recently, I run a local community choir, and I've also got an active interest in mental health issues for artists and people in the creative industries. I'm studying a psychology degree and hope to do some research and offer some support for artists in that field. Mental health is something that will actually affect 1 in 4 of us, but there is evidence to show that musicians and those working in the creative arts are particularly susceptible to psychological issues. One study that was carried out by a fantastic charity called Help Musicians found that 60% of musicians reported having suffered from some kind of psychological distress or disorder. 71% of those cited touring as an issue, and that's something that's going to affect every artist from day one, whether you're out there and well known or starting out on your journey. So it's something to be addressed. There's also been substantial evidence to show that within the music industry compared with the general workforce, there are extra pressures, and again, musicians are more susceptible to psychological issues. One study done in Norway in 2015 compared musicians to a general workforce and found that 18% of musicians reported of suffering from some kind of psychological distress. That was compared with only 8% in the general workforce. So there's clearly an extra pressure here, and therefore I would say an extra need for support. And it's often an area that's really overlooked, and I'd love to see the industry coming together to support artists in this really important area. We can often think that a lot of the pressures and issues that surround musicians can be just specific to the pop genre. We think of sex, drugs and rock and roll, and of course there are issues of addiction and substance misuse that are created within the industry, but it's not specific towards pop. Again, a study done in Norway in 2015 separated genres and different types of instruments, including vocalists, in their study, and they found that it wasn't specific to one genre. In fact, there was a lot of evidence to show within the classical and orchestral industry there are some high amounts of anxiety and stress being suffered. And that could be very much down to the hours and hours of practice that are involved, perhaps more so with classical musicians, the continuing pressure to perform very consistently night after night, and the competitiveness as well with lead roles. So this is something that isn't only for one genre, but mental health and anxiety, depression, stress, all of these vulnerabilities really go across the music spectrum. The main thing to know is that there is help out there. There does seem to be a reluctance for musicians to come forward and seek help, and although it is few and on the uprise, it is out there. There's a brilliant UK charity called Help Musicians that offers support from anything financial to things that are related to mental health. And another really good UK charity called Music Support are out there offering free and highly subsidised advice for people. Their website is musicsupport.org, and they also have a 24-hour, 7 days a week helpline that anyone can just pick up the phone and ask for help. I think a lot of the triggers for mental health vulnerabilities for artists are surrounded in the environment that you're in that makes it very unique to a lot of other work situations. There's displacement from home, there's often severe sleep deprivation, there's an incredible amount of loneliness being on the road and not having those people that you would normally turn to for support around you. There's a lot of financial and otherwise instability, not knowing how your day is going to go. And you can really feel that other friends and families from your former life before you started working as a musician have very different pressures than you do, and it can be quite hard to relate sometimes. I think key things are picking up on early triggers, to realising that there's help out there and not ignoring situations. The nature of the environment that you're in as a musician can mean that often things do get to crisis point and very severe before anybody steps in. But try to recognise that help is needed as early on as possible. And at this point I would call out to managers, fellow musicians and family labels, people supporting musicians to also take the responsibility to look out for musicians and step in. It might be you that needs to press pause and say you need to take a break. Lots of artists are scared that it will be the end of their career, or that they will be stopping at a vital point when something's just around the corner. There's no price on your health, and that should come first, and looking after that will ensure that you will then start to be able to continue to deliver your gift to people.